In 1997, a young researcher named Michael Metcalfe sat in his cramped university office, staring at a primitive web browser displaying one of the internet's early search engines. As he typed a query about neural networks, a thought struck him. The way information traveled across this growing digital network bore an uncanny resemblance to how neurons fire in our brains. The similarity is more than superficial, Michael would later write in his research journal. It might be one of the most profound examples of how human creations unconsciously mirror their creators. This observation was not merely poetic, it would prove prophetic. Over the next 25 years, scientists from diverse fields including neuroscience, computer science, network theory, and complex systems would discover remarkable parallels between the Internet's architecture and the human brain's organization. These parallels have provided unexpected insights into both systems, creating a fascinating feedback loop where our digital creation helps us understand our own biology. Consider the raw numbers. The human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others through synapses, creating a network of roughly 100 trillion connections. The Internet, meanwhile, links billions of devices through approximately 750,000 miles of submarine cables, countless terrestrial connections, and wireless signals, enabling trillions of data exchanges daily. But the similarities go far beyond scale. In 2012, Dr. Rachel Peterson of the Allen Institute for Brain Science published groundbreaking research comparing the organizational principles of neural networks to Internet architecture. Her team discovered that both systems employ what network theorists call small world properties, a mathematical concept first formalized by mathematicians Duncan Watts and Stephen Strogatz in 1998. Small world networks optimize the balance between local connectivity and global reach, Dr. Peterson explained in her landmark paper. They allow signals to travel efficiently between any 2 points with remarkably few steps, while maintaining tight local clusters that process related information. This small world architecture explains why information travels so efficiently in both systems. In the brain, a signal can traverse from one neuron to any other in an average of just 6 synaptic connections. Similarly, the 6 degrees of separation phenomenon observed in human social networks also applies to the Internet's architecture, where data packets typically reach their destination through just a handful of router hops. The discovery of these architectural similarities prompted neuroanatomist Jeff Lichtman of Harvard University to make a provocative statement in 2014: "The Internet may be the closest model we have ever built of the human brain, not by design but through convergent evolution toward optimal information processing." This comparison becomes even more fascinating when we examine how both systems respond to damage. The Internet was originally conceived by DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, in the 1960s with resilience in mind. Engineers Paul Barron and Donald Davies independently developed packet switching technology, breaking data into small packets that could find alternative routes if one path was compromised. The human brain evolved similar resilience mechanisms over millions of years. Neurologist V.S. Ramachandran documented numerous cases of neuroplasticity, where brain functions rerouted around damaged areas after strokes or injuries. In his 2011 book The Telltale Brain, he described a patient who recovered language abilities after damage to traditional language areas, as other brain regions assumed these functions. Both the brain and Internet demonstrate remarkable fault tolerance, explains network scientist Albert Laszlo Barabasi, whose pioneering work on scale-free networks revolutionized our understanding of complex systems. Remove a few nodes from either network, and the system adapts. This is not coincidence, it is mathematics revealing optimal organization principles. The similarities extend to growth patterns as well. As the Internet expanded from a few connected computers in the 1960s to billions of devices today, it did not grow randomly. Instead, it followed preferential attachment principles, what Barabasi termed rich-get-richer dynamics in his 1999 research. Popular websites accumulated links at much faster rates than obscure ones, creating network hubs that resemble the brain's highly connected regions. During embryonic development, the brain undergoes a similar process. Neuroscientist Marcus Kaiser of Newcastle University published studies in 2017 showing that neural networks form through preferential growth patterns, with certain regions becoming disproportionately connected as development progresses. Perhaps most intriguing are the parallels in information processing strategies. Both systems employ distributed processing and hierarchical organization. In the brain, the visual cortex processes information in layers, with early areas detecting simple features like edges and later regions recognizing complex objects. Similarly, the Internet processes data through hierarchical systems, from local networks to regional routers to global backbones. The brain and Internet both solve the same fundamental problem, explains cognitive scientist Melanie Mitchell, author of Complexity, A Guided Tour. They must efficiently process vast amounts of information with limited resources. It is not surprising they converged on similar solutions. Even the way information spreads through these networks shows remarkable similarities. Neuroscientist Georgi Bazaki documented how brain rhythms coordinate neural activity, allowing separated brain regions to communicate efficiently. His 2006 book Rhythms of the Brain detailed how these oscillations create temporary communication channels between distant neural populations. In 2010, network researchers from Indiana University discovered strikingly similar patterns in Internet traffic, with information flows showing rhythmic patterns that optimize network resources. These digital rhythms, like their neural counterparts, allow efficient communication across the network while preventing congestion. The comparison becomes even more profound when we consider learning mechanisms. The brain modifies connection strengths through processes like long-term potentiation, where frequently used neural pathways become stronger. This principle, often summarized as neurons that fire together, wire together, forms the basis of learning and memory. The Internet implements similar principles through algorithms like PageRank, developed by Larry Page and Sergey Brin for Google in 1996. PageRank strengthens connections to websites that receive many inbound links, creating a learning mechanism that identifies valuable information. Machine learning systems now routinely modify connection weights in artificial neural networks, mimicking how our brains learn from experience. In 2018, this cross-disciplinary research reached new heights when neuroscientist Danielle Bassett of the University of Pennsylvania published a comprehensive framework comparing information dynamics across biological and technological networks. Her work showed that both systems balance integration, global coordination, and segregation, specialized processing, a fundamental requirement for complex cognition. What is truly remarkable, Bassett noted in her paper, is that these organizational principles emerge whether the network components are neurons or routers, suggesting deeper mathematical laws governing efficient information processing systems. The similarities even extend to troubling phenomena. Both networks struggle with similar pathologies. Just as epileptic seizures represent uncontrolled synchronization of neural activity, Internet networks can experience cascade failures when localized problems spread throughout the system. Computer scientist John Kleinberg of Cornell University documented how network congestion can propagate through Internet infrastructure in patterns mathematically similar to neural avalanches observed during certain brain disorders. Security vulnerabilities present another parallel. Computer viruses spread through the Internet by exploiting network connections, much as neurological diseases like Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease propagate along neural pathways. Studying one system has provided insights for protecting the other. Yet for all these similarities, the differences remain profound and instructive. The human brain operates with remarkable energy efficiency, consuming just 20 watts of power, less than a dim light bulb. The Internet, by contrast, consumes approximately 200 terawatt-hours annually, equivalent to the output of dozens of power plants. This difference has inspired computer scientists to develop more energy-efficient computing architectures based on neural principles. Speed represents another crucial difference. While Internet signals travel at near light speed, neural transmission is considerably slower, with signals traveling at mere feet per second. This forces the brain to employ predictive coding, anticipating future inputs rather than simply reacting to current ones. These predictive mechanisms have inspired artificial intelligence researchers to develop predictive models that improve machine learning performance. Perhaps most significantly, the brain achieves consciousness, subjective awareness, while the Internet remains a non-conscious system despite its complexity. This distinction has prompted philosophers and scientists like David Chalmers to refine theories about what conditions are necessary for consciousness to emerge in complex networks. The brain-Internet comparison has proven particularly valuable for artificial intelligence research. In 2015, DeepMind's groundbreaking system AlphaGo defeated world champion Lee Sedol at the ancient board game Go, a feat many experts thought was decades away. The system relied on deep neural networks that incorporated principles observed in both biological brains and internet architectures. We did not explicitly model our systems after the internet, explained DeepMind researcher Demis Hassabis in a 2016 interview. But many of the architectural principles, distributed processing, hierarchical organization, and small world connectivity, apply to both biological and artificial neural networks. These seem to be optimal solutions that emerge whether through evolution or engineering. This cross-pollination between neuroscience and computer science has accelerated in recent years. In 2019, neuroscientist David Cox became director of the MIT-IBM Watson AI Lab specifically to bridge these disciplines. His team studies how principles from neuroscience can improve artificial intelligence, while insights from AI development inform brain research. The relationship has become symbiotic, Cox explained during a 2020 lecture. We build better AI by understanding the brain, and those improved AI systems help us understand the brain more deeply. It is a virtuous cycle of discovery. This virtuous cycle extends beyond research labs. Neurosurgeons now routinely use internet-based technologies like cloud computing and machine learning to analyze brain imaging data. These tools, themselves inspired by neural principles, help doctors understand and treat neurological conditions. In 2021, this relationship reached a new milestone when researchers at Stanford University used artificial neural networks to decode neural activity in real time, allowing a paralyzed patient to type by imagining writing letters. The system translated neural signals into text at 90 characters per minute, a striking example of digital technology interpreting brain activity. The brain-internet comparison has even influenced how we conceptualize mental health. Psychiatrist Thomas Insel, former director of the National Institute of Mental Health, has proposed viewing mental disorders as connectopathies, problems with neural network connectivity rather than simple chemical imbalances. This network perspective aligns with how we understand internet security and stability, offering new frameworks for treatment. As these parallels continue to emerge, scientists like Olaf Sporns of Indiana University have developed the field of connectomics, mapping and analyzing the brain's complete wiring diagram. His Human Connectome project, launched in 2010, uses techniques originally developed for mapping internet topologies to understand brain connectivity. We are applying network science across domains, Sporns explained in a 2018 interview. The mathematics describing efficient networks applies whether we are studying neurons, social groups, or computer networks. This universality gives us confidence we are discovering fundamental principles of information processing. This cross-disciplinary approach has revealed something profound: the constraints on efficient information processing systems may be universal, leading to similar solutions whether designed by engineers or shaped by evolution. What is truly humbling, reflects theoretical neuroscientist Carl Friston of University College London, is that evolution discovered optimal information processing architectures billions of years before we built the internet. The brain remains the most sophisticated information processing system we know, but studying our own creation helps us understand it better. This relationship between the brain and internet exemplifies a deeper pattern in scientific progress. Our technologies often inadvertently mirror nature's solutions, and studying these technologies can illuminate natural processes. The microscope revealed cellular structures, the steam engine inspired thermodynamics, computer networks now help us understand neural networks. As we continue building ever more sophisticated artificial intelligence and expanding the internet's capabilities, the parallels with brain function will likely grow stronger. Some researchers even speculate that sufficiently advanced digital networks might eventually develop emergent properties resembling consciousness, though this remains deeply controversial among neuroscientists and philosophers. What remains certain is that this unexpected relationship between our oldest information processor, the brain, and our newest, the internet, offers a powerful lens for understanding both. By studying how information flows, organizes, and creates meaning across these systems, we gain insight not just into technology or biology, but into the fundamental principles that govern complex information systems throughout our universe. When Michael Metcalfe noticed those first similarities between neural networks and the early internet in 1997, he could not have anticipated how profound the comparison would become. Today, it stands as one of the most productive metaphors in modern science, a reminder that sometimes, to understand ourselves, we must examine the tools we create. In building the internet, we may have unwittingly created the best model yet for understanding the most complex object in the known universe, the human brain.